beautiful story. I just love to tell this story. There was a man in Varanasi. He was staying in the banks of Ganga. Varanasi is the religious capital of India. Per day floating population is 300,000 people. 300,000 people enter into that city every day just to touch and have the blessings of that Shiva in that city. You will be surprised, no industry, nothing. The whole city, the only income of that whole city, the only reason for the development of the whole city is few temples of that city, that's all. All these things can happen only in India. Cities grow around temples. Even the village in which I was born and brought up, if you see the value, means the amount of money, time, energy spent on building that village temple, and the amount of money, time, energy spent on building that whole remaining village, it is not even 10%. If they have put 100 rupee, 100 men, and 100% energy in building the temple, the whole remaining village, they have put hardly less than 10% of money, 10% of men, and 10% of energy to build the whole remaining village. You will be shocked. 25-acre stone built up area, built up in stone, complete granite, built up area, and all other houses will be made out of wood and the mortar, the cement, brick. This beautiful city, the great city Varanasi, there was a man, very simple, innocent man, uneducated. He wants to have initiation from a priest. He thought that priest was enlightened, and somehow he devoted himself to that priest. Of course, not only that priest was not enlightened, he is not interested in accepting this illiterate man as a disciple. But this man's devotion is such. He's a very village person. His name is actually Ramdas. His name is Ramdas. He decides, I should take initiation from this priest. Let me do something. Then finally he somehow comes to know about the initiation process. Initiation means the disciple will touch the feet of the master. Master will put the feet on the head of the disciple and give the mantra, means the holy word, sacred word, to repeat. This is the initiation. This guy thinks if I go and lie down in the bank of Ganges, actually early morning that priest will come every day to take bath. Early morning, 4 o'clock, before the sunrise. If I lie down in the steps, naturally when he walks, he will put his he will put his feet on my head, because it is dark. It is dark. He will not know. He will somehow step on me. So it's a blessing. In India there is a habit, strange habit. Even if you do some mistake, you say Ram, Ram Ram, Krishna Krishna, not shit. People, when they do something like this, they say Ram Ram, Krishna Krishna. The words which you repeat are very powerful. So it is expected, any devoted person is supposed to use the words related to God or sacred words, even when he is unconscious, even when he does something wrong. So this man also expected, this Ramadas also expected, his would-be guru is a great spiritual person. So naturally when he steps on him, by mistake, he will repeat Ram Ram or Krishna Krishna. He thinks, I will take that as a mantra. Very intelligent plan. He will put his feet on my head, and naturally he will slip, and he will say Ram or Krishna or some God's name. I will take that as a mantra. He goes to the Ganga steps. Early morning, 4 o'clock, he is lying. The same path in which the priest used to walk. Almost everything was working. But for one thing missed. The priest came, he walked in the same route, and he put his feet also on the Ramdas. But because he is not enlightened as Ramdas thought, instead of saying Rama or Krishna, he shouted, oh buffalo, hey buffalo. He just shouted, fool, buffalo. First he shouted as buffalo. But this Ramdas is such a sincere person, he decides, whatever my master uttered is mantra. I'll repeat this word buffalo as my mantra. And he starts. You'll be shocked. He starts repeating that word buffalo, 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 buffalo. Continuously he is repeating. He is sitting and repeating that word. Buffalo, buffalo. Just because of his devotion, the story says, really, Devi appeared and gave darshan to him in the form of buffalo. If it is just a story, we won't believe naturally. There is an historical incident which happened. If it is just a story, we won't, it is just a story for inspiration, forget about it. But there is a history, then you will understand the power of this devotion. The next year, festival time, they were trying to bring the Devi in the procession. When they were trying to bring the Devi in the procession, the door of that main temple is 10 feet height. Devi Murti is only 3 feet height. But when they were trying to bring that Devi, it's not coming out of the door frame. It is stuck. Physically there is nothing. But actually the Devi Murti is not coming out. Something is eating. These priests are trying their best. This priest who initiated him also is trying. Initiated him in the buffalo mantra. He is also trying. The Devi is not coming out. This Ramadas, he was there in the festival. He shouts, "Hey, don't you see the horns of the Devi is hitting the wall? It is hitting the window. It is hitting the door frame. Just lower a little bit, then she will come out." He was able to see Devi is appearing to him in the form of buffalo. And the horns of the buffalo is hitting the door frame. That is the reason the Murti is not coming out. It's very difficult to believe logically that all these things are possible. Let me tell you one or two more incidents with this historical proof. Then we may be able to understand. He shouts, "Oh priest, oh Gurudev, why don't you lower the statue a little bit? The horn of the Devi is hitting the wall." The priests are shouting at him, "Fool, don't you have eyes? What are you talking? Where Devi has got horns? Keep quiet. You are being allowed here itself is too much. Get out." They were shouting at him. Then they are trying their best. She is not coming out. Finally, he felt disturbed. Then they are hitting the Devi's horn on the door frame. He just went by force, he pressed the Murti off of it. Immediately the Murti came out. It came out. The story says he was given darshan by Devi in the same form of buffalo on which he was meditating. And not only she gave darshan, she proved to the whole world through this incident, whoever meditates in whatever form, with whatever name he appears, the divine appears to them in that same form, in that same way. Because in memory of this incident, still now they have a beautiful buffalo created in a silk carpet which will be hanging next to the Devi temple. Still now if you go to Varanasi, on this festival day, they will hang a big curtain in which they have embroidered buffalo in a silk curtain, and the puja will be done to that also. Just in memory of this Ramadas, great devotee who meditated on Devi in the form of buffalo and got enlightened just in the same form, just to respect his devotion, still now they worship Devi in the form of buffalo with a big golden screen, the silk screen, the golden embroidery. And one more thing, the person from whom he took mantra, the priest himself is not enlightened. He never had the darshan of Devi. But the devotee, Ramadas, just because of his devotion, not only able to have the darshan, he is able to communicate with the ultimate. Let you be very clear. Don't bother about whether the master is enlightened or not. The very devotion, the very surrender, very sincerity, that sincerity itself has got the power to liberate you, to enlighten you. The sweetness or the beauty of this type of stories, it creates so much of life. It creates so much of devotion. It creates so much of joy in your being when we just relax for a few minutes from our logic, which is constantly nagging us, which is constantly torturing us, and relax your being with this kind of few stories. These few things can create devotion, which can straight away help you to know the knower.